Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Good Morning Soul and another short film analysis review. And today, we're doing another animated short, and this one, which year was this from? Hold on. I believe these are the 2016 movies, if my piece of paper is correct. And this movie, Lost to Piper, which Piper was an adorable film, but I'm sorry, this movie was just, it was better. It was much more artful. It was much more, I don't know, dynamic, different, like alternative, very good stuff. I'm actually looking up the film because I wanted to say it has a, I forget the type of painting that this art style is following, blind Vaysha, that this art style is doing. But the story here is that there is a woman, and she basically has a curse with her one of her eyes. I believe the right one sees the past, and her left eye sees the future, or vice versa. It's kind of like if she's looking at like a house, she will see the house being torn down or it's being built. It says sometimes they just kind of go in and out of sequence, right? Sometimes she's looking way in the future, sometimes she's looking a little bit in the future, or vice versa. For instance, a man asks her hand in marriage or whatever, and she sees either an old man or a child. And you know, like, it kind of doesn't make sense, because it's kind of like, well, if this was a child, why is he asking me to marry him? Like, shouldn't he be off somewhere else? So it's kind of like you're looking at, like, an alternative future, I guess. Like, I don't know. That part was kind of weird, like, on how that makes sense. I think that's the only, like, big hole in the story here. I don't know how else you could, like, fix that, though. The point is they're trying to tell this metaphor, which is, at the end of the movie, the whole movie's narrated, by the way. The woman narrating says, so, if you were, like, given the choice, which Vaysha, she basically wants to tear out one of her eyes, but she doesn't know which one to choose. She's pretty much blind. Like, she doesn't know what the fuck is going on. She gets some dark fucking, what is it called? Not black magic, but, witch doctor, treatment, which doesn't work, obviously. And so she's like, let me just tear out one of my eyes. And then the narrator pans to the audience and says, would you, if you were to look at this story, you would either see a story yet to be created, or you would see a story that no longer remains, and which one is better? Which is kind of to say that the future is here and now, and you should enjoy it. And it also says, you know, the past and future is always fucking scary, and whatever is here and now is kind of like the heart. I don't know how else to describe it. I believe that's kind of the message here. And you know, it was an interesting film, and I thought the Wikipedia page might fucking say this art style does not say, oh well, but it's very like the old, like the Screaming Guy and all the other paintings that are just like this. It's one of those. It's a really beautiful style. You know, it's not like enjoyable to look at, but it's interesting. There's some really like standout-ish moments, especially with like these characters who are like really long and towering over her, and the way her eyes kind of do this swirling vortex thing of color with brown and green. I thought that was a nice touch, having her have two different color eyes, like, you know, people with that condition. Anyway, it was 8 minutes. They covered a lot of ground in 8 minutes, and I enjoyed it. I was thinking about giving it a 7, but again, when I stack it up with movies that are like in that 7 out of 10 range, there's just not enough in 8 minutes that you can do. I'm sorry, unless you really fucking hit me in the heart. This movie, it did a good job. It gets a 6 out of 10. Nothing wrong with that. Anyway. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, with that, I leave you.